Spurs fans, we've yet to see this starting lineup happen. Should we? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Our Spurs have a few days off and hopefully are getting healthy. And I was thinking, this was supposed to be the starting lineup at the start of the season. Hasn't happened yet. Should the Spurs make a change? All over the pros and cons and whether they should. And, well, let's get into it. Let's first talk about the big change. And I think Jeremy Sochan would end up starting over Julian Champagnie. And the benefits there immediately being Sochan is a better defender and a better rebounder. Sochan at the time of this was averaging 8.2 rebounds per game. And Julian was averaging 5.1. Sochan is the best offensive rebounder on the team at this time. He averaging just about 3 rebounds a team, so he's doing his work in the paint. Better above the game rim when dunking, and I say dunking because we have seen Jeremy miss quite a few layups and short shots at the rim. When he's throwing it down, he's a very good finisher. Now, there is a negative to this. Julian Champagnie is a much better three-point shooter than Jeremy Sochan. At the time of this video, Champagnie is shooting about 36% from three, and Jeremy's shooting 21. That's going to kill our floor spacing. Also, Julian's a much better free throw shooter. Julian at this time, I kept saying this at this time, obviously it's at this time of this video, Julian's shooting a phenomenal 92%, limited sample size, but 92% to Sochan's 69. So, we're going to gain some things, and we're going to lose some things. But I do expect Jeremy Sochan to take Julian Champagnie's starting spot at some point. Or Spurs could throw a total curveball, and Harrison Barnes goes to the bench, and Jeremy Sochan takes his spot. We'll see on that. But I think Barnes is going to be the one that starts. Now, I was talking about the floor spacing being an issue. If they put in, if they put in Sochan over, I'm struggling real today. Put in Sochan over Champagnie. Yes, we're going to hurt the floor spacing, but we're also going to help the floor spacing because the other change could be Devin Vassell starting over Stephon Castle. Immediately, Devin is a better shooter. His shooting splits right now are phenomenal. 49, 42, and about 91. Castle's, he's working on it. He's a rookie, but they're 39, 28, and 74. He has been doing better from the free throw line. I'm glad to see that. And his numbers have been better since coming off the bench. By starting Devin, I do think the defense is going to take a little bit of a hit. Devin has been defending better a little bit as of late, but Castle, I think, is the more versatile defender and the bigger defender. But that floor spacing comes back. So will this happen? By the way, here's the rest of the stats. And yes, everybody's purple. I've been clicking on everybody. So here's what's going on with the Spurs. We have some guys that are struggling, some guys that are playing as we thought they would. A lot of guys averaging double digits. As I'm here, before I switch back to the thumbnail, the crazy thing is, look where Devin Vassell is. He's on the bottom of that double-digit point list at 16.6, but he's getting the least amount of minutes per game out of everybody. He's our most efficient scorer right now, actually more efficient than Wemby now that I take a look. But he's only taking 12 shots a game. He's got to get more involved in the offense. From the amount of money that we're paying him, the amount of money the Spurs are paying him, needs to be getting more shots. He's arguably our best offensive player outside of Wemby. And maybe you'd say Devin is at this point because Wemby's still working on his jump shot. Wemby, without a question, our best finisher in the paint. But when it comes to shooting, actual shooting, three-point shooting, Devin is, he's older, he's been in the league longer. So let me get back to the thumbnail. And answer the question, finally circle back around. Will this happen? Should it happen? Yes, I think it will. How's it going to affect our bench? Well, I hate to point it out, but you guys are certainly aware of it. This has been a horrible stretch for Zach Collins, getting the least amount of minutes of his career, coming off an ejection where he flipped off the ref, and he also had a hard spill on the last game the Spurs played, and I think he played 3 minutes, so he's, not in the best place. He's probably going to be the primary center off the bench unless the Spurs can move him before the All-Star break. That's going to be a tough sell. His trade value is very minimal right now, I got to think, and his contract that's attached to the performance he's giving this season, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But if the Spurs can get maybe a second-round pick, a late second-round pick for him at this point, might be a good idea. I like Zach. I wish he's a good player. I don't want to sit here and have this turn into a Zach Collins trash conversation because he's not. But he doesn't fit what we're doing anymore. When he was the backup to Jakob Poeltl, and that 1 year we started some games after Jakob was traded, he fit what the Spurs were doing. He was what we needed at that time, which is why he got the contract. But what we're doing now, he's not what we need, and he doesn't fit here. So hopefully for the Spurs and for him, he can go somewhere where they can take advantage of what he brings to a team. As far as the bench after that, when everybody's healthy, I could see the bench being Charles Bassey, Julian Champagnie, Keldon Johnson, Stephon Castle, and Trey Jones. So the first glaring thing that points out is that unit, not an offensive tour de force. They're not going to put up a lot of points. However, I see a lot of good defenders there. Bassey is, per 36 minutes, I believe Bassey has a higher shot block per game than Wemby. Let me actually fact check myself. I just realized I have Basketball Reference up. Let's take a look real quick. Wemby's playing 32.2 minutes per game, leading the NBA, cha-ching, and blocks at 3.4. Charles Bassey, you can't quite see it, but he's averaging 10.5 minutes per game, and Bassey is averaging 1.3 blocks. 1.3 blocks in 10.5 minutes. If we take 10.5 minutes and times it by 3, that's 31.5. 1.3 times 3 is 3.9. So on a per minute basis, Charles Bassey is actually the best shot blocker on the team. But you didn't know that. I didn't, but I do now. So Bassey, great rim protector. Champagnie, Kelman, Castle, Jones. We're going to have 3 guys that can defend in Bassey, Penny, and Castle. Jones is shown to be a pesky defender at times at point guard, and Kelman would be the weak link in that unit, but I think it would be a very solid defensive unit. The key would be, can that unit score enough to maintain a lead or even increase a lead? I think they're going to do a good job in defending other teams and holding them, but you're still going to put points up on the board. Maybe it might be more beneficial is if take that lineup I just said, and maybe the other switch could be Harrison Barnes going to the bench and Julian Champagnie staying in the starting lineup, which I never thought I'd say that, but Champ's been playing, fairly well this year. I don't see him as a long-term starter for the Spurs over the next 5-10 years or whatever. I think that's a position that we're going to need to replace. I do see the starting lineup for the future of the Spurs being Wemby, Sochan, Vassell, Castle. Insert another forward here. I know Cooper Flygate's be like, blah, blah. So it'll be interesting to see what the Spurs do. I'm very curious what Mitch Johnson's going to do. He's definitely thrown some wonky lineups out there, but this has been the expected starting lineup for the whole season. Will he go with it? Should he go with it? Spurs fans, drop a comment down below. Do you think this will happen? Or has Stephon Castle earned his stripes and he's going to stay in the starting lineup for the rest of his Spurs career? Is he now a permanent starter? The fact that Mitch Johnson had him out there at the end of the fourth quarter in the last game, even when he made some mistakes, he had some big shots too, made some big moments, but he made some rookie mistakes, which he's going to do. But is Mitch already saying, you know what? Let's get this out of his system now as a rookie. This is going to be our starter for the to infinity and beyond. Let's knock out all those kinks now and get him ready. Let him learn on the fly. We're not going to a championship this year, right? We're not going to the finals, Spurs fans. So let's get everything worked out this season. Does Castle stay a starter? I think it's the biggest question mark I have with the Spurs team is what's going to happen with him. Will he stay a starter? There's a part of me, my mind says no, but my heart says yes. So I'm going to be very interested to see how that plays out. Of course, hit the thumbs up, like our sports channel, and become an official sponsor of TSR Sports, and subscribe to be part of our awesome Spurs community. I thank you, and as always, go Spurs go.
Go Spurs go, 'cause the Giants stay.